started.
I got a game. Chris Chess from Singapore. Cool. Let's try d4, I think. Okay, knight f6. And now, the Hungarian, the Budapest gambit. So, yeah, I guess it's normal to try and hold on to the pawn. You eventually lose this pawn, so it's not a true gambit. Oh, this is a tricky line. If you put the knight here, he can take and give you these really ugly pawns. If you put the knight here, you do. There is a danger that you get mated here quickly because the king is getting stuck in the center. I don't know if the trade was the right thing to do. Okay, so let's force an exchange here. Ask that knight where he's going. And then defend this pawn. I could have played e3 there, maybe. Just trying to remember all the tricks. There's a trick, I guess it happens after the rook is on the e file, where knight here is mate. Right now, knight there would be, if there was a rook here, knight here would not be mate, because I could take with the g-pawn, and it wouldn't be, also the king could run away, and wouldn't be winning the queen either. So I need to make sure this square is defended. So maybe just e3, bishop e2, and castle. The queen hits the rook there. So knight there. The knight could move with tempo check, and then the queen could pick up the rook in the corner. Lots of little tactical tricks on this opening. And I probably didn't play it in the best way. We'll look at it in the post-mortem. I wanted to say, while I have a minute here, that I'm sorry I haven't uploaded a video in the last few days. I've been meaning to, and it just hasn't worked out. For a couple days I was just playing really badly. All the games were terrible. Not always my fault. Sometimes my opponent was playing really badly. And then yesterday I had a couple of good games I would have been happy to download, and then there was a glitch on the recording. So I'm just hoping this recording works out. Anyway, so hopefully I will be more consistent in the future. So he's threatening to take on h3 here because of the pin on the g-pawn. So I should move my king out of the way. And the question is, does he have some other clever trick? I don't know. He's supporting his bishop along this diagonal, so the bishop can come into any of these light squares. I'll trade it off if it lands on d3 there. Okay. So maybe I should play e4 here. That gives up a pawn. Bishop f3, not that appetizing. Knight d5 here, maybe. Knight d5 to f4. Maybe that's the way to play it. Instantly threatening on c7 there. But f4 is a good square. It hits the queen, defends these two pawns. And he has to decide right now if he wants to defend c7 or let me win the exchange. And he decided to do that. Okay, so knight f4 immediately. I guess. And then maybe I can play something to g4. Now there's a pin on this square. Okay, I could move my king back to g1. Kind of uninspired. I can't play e4 here. What can I play? e4, bishop takes. Is there some clever knight move? Hitting his queen. I don't see it. So g4, bishop takes, knight takes, and I can't take back. Maybe rook g1. And bishop takes, I have knight takes. And if he plays g5, I can play g4. Or can I? So he's obviously intending the sacrifice here. If I move the knight away, say knight to e3 or something like that, knight d3, then bishop takes, pawn takes, queen takes is a mate. So after bishop takes, it's a problem. Let's see, and I still can't play bishop to g4. I can play pawn to g4. Are there other knight moves though? Knight to h3, h5. Knight h5 is interesting because blocks the queen, and it is defended by the bishop here. So that stops the threat of mate on stops the threat of mate on h3. Yeah, so he charges in. Not bad. So bishop takes. Well, the knight. Oh, stop. I can't move too quickly. If the knight came back to g3, pawn takes, knight takes, bishop, pawn takes g2 is a double check. King takes g2. And maybe the king is getting free. So knight g3, pawn takes, knight takes, bishop hitting the queen. Seems okay. Knight g3 and just bishop retreats is a problem though. Knight back to knight back to f4. Pawn takes, and then I leave the pawn there. I don't take back. I play g3, and that should blunt his attack. He doesn't react to that. Just moves his king out of the way. Was there a threat on the king? Anyway, I am going to play g3 and then h4 if he lets me. So I think he has to take here. He can throw in the move knight to f3, and I'll take it with the bishop. Pawn takes. And then I'll play... oh, I don't need to play h4 here because it's I can defend with the king. And it's probably a little better this way, rather than creating holes in my structure by playing h4. Keep the pawn on h3. I can play rook h1 and king g1 to rearrange and support this with a piece too. So this is a little better. He's going to sack the exchange there, huh? Okay, but I can play pawn to g4 now. Bishop takes, rook takes. Always keeping in mind this is pinned, but it prevents the bishop from taking here. So if queen takes, king takes, bishop takes, rook takes, pawn takes. I think this is all okay for me. Okay for me, and I now have the square g3 for my rook. Well, I hope this recording comes out because this is an interesting game. Even if I blunder from here on, there's been enough interesting chess here that I don't mind. I don't mind uploading this one. So, what's the idea? I could play rook g3 right away. I'm holding the fort here, and his rook is loose, but if I play queen d5, he can just double rooks. I have queen c3 check. Yeah, I think just rook g3. Bring the other rook over to g1. That also defends on h1. And just round up this pawn on f3. Aha, yeah, so he's got this idea too. He can increase the pressure on g4. I can throw in check here, though. And maybe I should. Check. King can't move, so it's rook there would be pinned. Queen there, I exchange it. So check.
Check.
Let's check it and pin the rook. And then if he moves his rook there, then I have knight to h5, attacking g7. And if he plays queen to g7, I'll just trade and then grab the pawn over here, and I should be better. So yeah, good example of defending against a pretty interesting attack. So it's always good to take a look at this kind of thing. I can block with the knight. Block with the knight. And always good to take a look at this kind of thing in the postmortem. Okay, so knight to h5 anyway, attacking f6 there. And if bishop takes, okay, so knight h5, bishop takes g4, knight takes f6, and the rook is still defending on h3. And the knight on f6 threatens a really terrible discovered attack. And hits the rook, hits the two rooks. So I may have to start moving quicker. My opponent still has 5 minutes left, and I only have 1 minute. So I may have talked too much in this video, but it's interesting. Well, he's pausing to think. That's a good sign. Okay, defends f6. So now I can just take on f3 because this pawn on g3 is no longer under attack. And just increase the pressure on f6. And knight takes f6 will defend g4 as well. Okay, what can he try here? Rook takes g4, knight takes. Oh, he's just defending there. So that's interesting.
Time
Knight
warning.
takes, rook takes, rook takes, rook takes, queen takes. Yeah, so he's got enough force to defend all of that. I have to move more quickly. Okay, just getting out of the view of his bishop there. I wonder if I can even play... no, I guess I can't. I can't play g5. His queen can go there, yeah. So maybe put the knight over here. Knight could go back to d5, perhaps. You know, I want to... oh, that gives up the exchange. It's terrible. Yeah, it's what happens when I start playing fast. I want to try and get in this move. H4 is what my idea is. So I want to play knight g2, which I can now that I've gotten rid of the... now that I've gotten rid of his bishop by giving up a rook for it. Or I can just play it immediately here. Aha, he's going this way. So I'm going to keep pushing these pawns forward. Let's see. I was going to take with the rook, but there's a problem that he can just take. This is no longer pinned. So rook takes, pawn takes, queen takes. And do I have anything? I have a fork at the end.
Check.
With knight to d6, I guess. And he might have a way out of the fork. Knight to d6 also threatens mate on, or knight h4 threatens mate on g2, but he's got that guarded. But it might be interesting. What? Don't want to trade queens here. Maybe just g6. Okay, so that gets out of the fork, so I have to do something. He has a check here with the queen. Oh, now that's interesting. So, can I do anything about it? I just want to promote this pawn, but that square is guarded. Queen takes rook and knight here check. Would be a neat trick. Queen takes rook
check.
And knight d7 check, yeah, so I guess he saw that. Or he saw no reason not to win a pawn, which is probably a good thing to do anyway. His rook is hanging, though.
Check.
Yeah, at the end of this, he can take here with his rook, with check. Bit unfortunate. Queen takes, king takes, check. Rook here, check. Or rook here, check right away. Yeah, that's check. Resignable. Okay, good game. I will upload this, assuming the recording comes out, and see you guys later. Bye.
White resigns.